In this video, I am going to show you how to eliminate 80% of hidden electricity drainers in your home. In the next few minutes, you will learn how to identify, find, and effectively eliminate all unnecessary energy use from your electrical devices. And the best part of it, you don't need any tools or technical knowledge to get started. This video is presented to you by The German Engineer, your channel for money, savings, efficiency, and growth. If you find this information useful, hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos, subscribe to my channel to make sure you are not missing out on any update. What are hidden energy drainers? They can be broadly defined as devices that consume electrical energy without actively switched in operation. This is also often referred to as standby power mode. In this mode, electricity is consumed by an appliance when it's not performing its primary functions, but it's connected to a power block and ready to be used. What does this mean? One example is a TV that has been switched off by remote control, but it continues to draw a little power for the readiness to receive remote control signal to be switched on again. Another example is a mobile phone charger. If it's plugged into the wall but not connected to the phone, it still consumes energy. The reason this happens is the transformer, which converts the electricity from the plug into smaller electricity units to be used by those appliances. Due to natural inefficiencies, there will always be some losses converted into heat. This will happen independent if the device is switched on or off. Sounds boring? Don't worry, we are not going into further technical details. The one key to remember here is that as long as there is a plug in the wall, no matter if the device is switched on or off, we have to pay attention. In the next part, I'm going to show you how you can identify these hidden energy drainers. The average household in modern countries has more than 10 devices that consume standby power around the clock. Before we start, let's think about how many electrical items that might consume standby power do you have in your home? Can you guess? We are going back to that in a minute. Let me first show you 4 clues that help you to identify these standby power consumers in your home. Clue number 1. Devices with remote control. As mentioned before, the TV is consuming energy when switched into standby mode. This means it can be switched on by a push of a button with a remote control. The same applies for many other appliances with remote control. Some examples are audio systems, game consoles, air conditions, air fan, and lighting systems. They all consume energy when switched off while waiting to be set into operation via remote control. Do you have other remote controlled items at home? Add them to your list for potential savings. Devices controlled by voice, such as smart speakers or fully integrated smart home systems, also consume standby power while not operating actively. Pay special attention to smart speakers. According to a publication by the Natural Resources Defense Council, they can increase the standby power of your TV set by up to 20-fold if voice control is activated. In other words, you consume the standby power of 20 TVs when using voice control. This would equal to 250 washing machines per year, or to watching TV for 120 days and nights straight. Let's look into clue number 2. Devices with external power supply or transformer. Any charger for phones, pads, computer, printer, camera and screens is using standby power when plugged into the socket but not connected to the device. Even plugged-in USB chargers are consuming energy while not in use. Also, pay attention to fully charged devices still plugged into the wall. According to a Stanford research group, a phone consumes about 60% of the original charging power and a laptop even 66%, despite fully charged battery. This is important to note. Let's look into clue number 3. Devices with a digital display that is switched on around the clock. For example, on a microwave oven. In most cases, a microwave has a digital display that is on independent whether you prepare some food or not. Can you guess how much energy consumption over a microwave lifetime is used by standby mode and a digital display only? It is 80%. This means 80% of total energy you pay for during a lifetime of a microwave oven is not coming from the original function of heating up food or drinks. Other items in this category are washing machines or dryers, if they have a digital display embedded and continuously switched on. Do you have more in your household? Think about how much energy you pay for while not using these devices actively. Clue number 4. Devices with rechargeable battery and always plugged in. In this category, there could be toothbrushes, shavers, or vacuum cleaners, for example. These products continue to use standby power even after the battery is fully charged. Remember the example I showed earlier with the mobile phone? 60% of the energy has still been used after the phone was fully charged. Did you guess right on your number of devices you have in your household? Or do you have questions on the categories? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Now comes the most fun part, as I will show you clear and simple actions to help you save money from your next electricity bill onwards. You might ask, how much money can be saved? This depends on a few factors that I'm going to highlight before we go into the solutions. Basically, the energy loss caused by standby power for appliance electricity accounts for up to 20% per household depending on the country you live in. Many governments in modern countries introduced requirements to reduce standby power consumption in electronic appliances. This means the standby power consumption should decrease over time. The reality depends on key factors such as the country where the product is produced and sold, the condition and quality of your product, and of course the number of devices you have in your household. Independent of your specific situation, there is always room to improve, and lower energy consumption is also good for the environment. Let's quickly recap the 4 clues to identify hidden energy drainers. Number 1, devices with remote control. Number 2, devices with external power supply or transformer. Number 3, devices with continuous digital display. And number 4, devices with rechargeable battery, always plugged in. There is one more item that most households use, but technically it does not fit into the 4 criteria mentioned earlier. It usually operates around the clock without much attention on its energy consumption, and therefore we should give it at least a thought. Can you guess what it is? It is the modem and router to supply internet to your home. While it appears to be difficult to switch off this device in a connected world, it's definitely worth having a look at the energy consumption. As it runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week and 365 days a year in most households, there is huge saving potentials here. There are 4 possible solutions to reduce your standby power consumption. Each solution can be applied to one or more of the 4 categories described earlier. Solution number 1. It may sound very simple, but it's the most efficient and should not be forgotten in our list. Pulling the plug. While it can be inconvenient to pull the plug frequently, it is the safest option when it comes to risk for fire. As most electrical devices have very high safety standards, there is less reason to worry about this. However, during a vacation or a longer period outside the home, this option gets my highest recommendation. While this solution can be applied to all categories, you may want to find your own balance between savings and convenience. Solution number 2. Hardware switch. This is a switch on the devices which disconnects the electricity mostly by a physical button. This means no electricity can flow from the cable into the device. A typical example for appliances with hardware switch are also TVs or an air fan. The disadvantage is that while shut off with a hardware switch, it cannot be switched on via remote control. However, from a saving perspective, this will stop the standby power to be consumed, and therefore category number 1 is the best match for this solution. Solution number 3. Switchable multi-socket power bar. This is an extension cable with 4 or more plugs in a row connected with a hardware switch. This solution can be applied to all categories, and it is most efficient for areas where you have multiple technical devices nearby and you would disconnect them all together. For example, your working space, where you have your laptop charger, printer, phone charger, and working light. By switching the button, you make sure all the standby power consumption is locked by disconnecting from the grid. The plugs are still in the sockets, but the main switch does not allow the energy to pass. This multi-socket can also be applied to other categories, such as TV and audio sets, devices with digital display, or rechargeable and always plugged in devices. Solution number 4. Time switch. This is a plug that can be set up to let energy flow only during a specific time of the day. It has a timer included and switches on and off for the time of your choice. For example, if you would like to have the flexibility of using the remote control for your TV, but you know that during nighttime you won't watch, then you can set up specific times and cut the standby power during the inactive time. Further, it can be applied to plugged-in rechargeable devices. If you set the timer for 1 hour a day, it saves 23 hours of standby power consumption. A time switch is the most expensive of the solutions and therefore should only be applied for devices where the saving is significant. The most suitable category in this case would be the modem and router for your internet connection. There is one more important consideration when you select solution number 3 and number 4. While they were perfectly efficient for general household items with normal power consumption, they could cause a fire risk if high energy consumers such as microwave, oven, washing machines or dryers are connected to them. These devices should always be plugged in directly to the socket. If they don't have a hardware switch, your safest option is number 1, pulling the plug. Each of the solutions makes a small contribution to cut your energy bill. Applying them all together for your standby power consumers can save up to 80% of money caused by these items. To sum it up, most electrical devices in your home consume standby power, adding unnecessary cost to your electricity bill. We have identified how to find these energy drainers by 4 different categories. These are remote control, external power supply, continuous digital display, and rechargeable battery, always plugged in. And last, 4 possible solutions have been shown how to reduce your energy bill for each individual item. This video was presented to you by the German Engineer, your channel for money, saving, efficiency, and growth. If you find the video useful and you would enjoy more insights about household savings, make sure you hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below so you won't miss other videos.